Gear 5th Luffy has completely changed the scales of battle in One Piece. Seemingly capable of distorting anything around him, coupled with the ability to do almost anything thanks to Toon Force abilities, yet somehow Luffy doesn't feel unbeatable. Not yet, at least. Since the start of One Piece, we've watched Luffy grow into an unbelievably powerful fighter in the world of One Piece that few can stand to match. If you've been following One Piece since its inception, then it's refreshing to see Luffy just a few arcs away from achieving his goal to become Pirate King. There's something about watching Luffy go from this to this. It just feels so good. Now, after the culmination of Luffy's godly battle with Kaido and the climax of Wano, Luffy has officially achieved the fabled Yonko status. His crew deemed commanders of his powerful fleet, and now the government takes caution before they move against him. It truly begs the question, how powerful has Luffy become? Let's find out. But before that, if you're one of the thousands who have watched my videos and enjoy my content, please give this video a like and sub to the page. We are so close to reaching 1,000 subs. I hope this video can get us over the edge. In the meantime, enjoy How Powerful is Luffy Actually? And to do this, we'll go through Luffy's power level as it grows throughout the series. I think I'm going to do something interesting here. Since after over 1,000 chapters, we have a much better gauge of characters and their strength relative to others, I think I can make something of a tier list to identify where I feel Luffy's power level was at certain points in the story. And for the levels I'll place him at, I'll use the Beast Pirates hierarchy because theirs is actually based on strength. So, headliner level, Topiropo level, lower all-star level, or your second and third commander level. Higher all-star level, which is your first commanders, admiral level, and finally, Yonko level. Because I do still think the average Yonko is stronger than the average admiral. And starting off, we'll be going to the beginning, to Romance Dawn. Okay, not really. If I had to rank Luffy pre-time skip, he's solidly below headliner level until he reaches Enies Lobby. So for our first version of Luffy, I'll speak on the Luffy we see in Enies Lobby, Thriller Bark, and Sabaody, and where I think Luffy ranks during this time. During the Enies Lobby arc is when Luffy reveals both Gear 2nd and 3rd. When using Gear 2nd, he pumps his blood faster, giving him a larger boost in overall strength and speed, and Gear 3rd turns individual body parts gigantic. With these gears, he was able to defeat Rob Lucci of CP9 at the time, and Ashishibukai and Gecko Moria, even entering Sabaody with a bounty of 300 million berry. The Gear's power-ups did come with the drawback though. Gear 2nd reduces Luffy's lifespan, and Gear 3rd would temporarily turn him into a kid. Also, because Luffy did not have an understanding of Haki, his potential is cut rather short during this time. However, it is with Luffy unlocking these two gears that I think Luffy's power level entered into the realm of the headliners. Luffy could probably give the lower headliners a run for their money, most notably characters like Hold'em or Speed. Unfortunately, powerful headliners like Hawkins and really any other Topiropo, because they're actually still headliners, wouldn't have many problems, if any, defeating this version of Luffy. Therefore, I'll rank this Luffy being spirited away by our Big Bear Kuma at the lower end to mid headliner level. And that takes us right into our next iteration of Luffy in Amazon, Lily, Impel Down, and Marineford. Now, he doesn't change much here in terms of strength and power. However, it is during Amazon Lily that Luffy is introduced to Haki and shows his aptitude for Conqueror's Haki with an amazing Conqueror's Haki burst in the arena. Again, during Luffy's break-in of Impel Down, he doesn't get much, if at all, stronger, but he does gain a buff in high poison resistance from his near-death experiences against Magellan. And upon reaching Marineford, Luffy has more accidental uses of Haki, using Observation Haki against Mihawk before getting his hands cut off, and launching a random burst of Conqueror's Haki that has the whole of the Marines officially deem his life to be forfeit. But still, his lack of any practical application of Haki cripples his ability to face any mid-level threats in the New World. I can see Luffy giving a good fight to characters like Oven or Daifuku, but losing in the end due to just having no Haki. Also, almost any Logia would also have very little issues with this version of Luffy. That being said, by the culmination of Marineford, Luffy would be a prize addition to any Yonko crew, but not quite at the level where he'd be considered a top officer. So, I would still place Luffy just before the time skip at mid-headliner level, simply because he is beginning to get some understanding of haki. This all changes after the time skip, in our next iteration of Luffy covering Fishman Island, Punk Hazard, and the Dressrosa arcs. It goes without saying that training with one of the strongest individuals on the seas ever, in Silver Rayleigh, for 2 years would greatly boost your power level. However, no one could have predicted just how powerful Luffy became in those 2 years. Upon entering Sabaody a second time, Luffy showed the world why he was worth 400 million berry. Now armed with every form of haki and proficiency in all three, Luffy entered the New World and effortlessly destroyed the same pacifistas that took the entire crew to defeat previously. He completely mastered his Gear 2nd and 3rd forms, seemingly eliminating their drawbacks, and gained several new moves to add to his moveset. During the climax of Fishman Island, Luffy showed that he wasn't just ready for the New World, but intended to dominate it. His burst of Conqueror's haki knocked out 50,000 fishmen, and shaking the confidence of Hody Jones showed that Luffy now has access to his overwhelming haki. Able to effortlessly coat his fists in haki and even unlocking the ability to generate flames to enhance his punches even further. Add exceptional observation haki, and even hitting Luffy takes a great amount of effort and skill. I would say upon Luffy freeing Fishman Island from the Hody Jones faction, the power he displays would easily place him in the realms of the Topiropo. And the truth is, Luffy's stronger still, he simply hasn't shown us yet. But let's move on to Punk Hazard, where Luffy doesn't display any significantly new skills, but fortifies that he is ready for the New World. I will add that Luffy became a bit careless with his strength, as he did let Caesar Clown get the better of him in their initial confrontation. However, by the end of the arc, Luffy showed that even a Logia with a bounty of 3 million berry was truly no longer a threat to him any longer. Next, we arrive at Dressrosa, and it's here where Luffy truly showed the fruits of his 2-year training. Up against the powerful Shishibukai and former Celestial Dragon Doflamingo, Luffy unveils his most powerful form to date, Gear 4th. Now, although Luffy didn't reveal this power until his earth-shattering battle against Doflamingo, Luffy left Amazon Lily with Gear 4th as a weapon in his arsenal. Gear 4th is the biggest jump in power the Gears have given Luffy at this point in the series. With it, his strength, speed, and defense is greatly increased, giving him the power to overwhelm and defeat Doflamingo, even with the latter using his awakening. Of course, Gear 4th is not without its drawbacks. Luffy can only use the form for several minutes, and afterwards he cannot use haki for 10 minutes, a severe limitation that limits his ability to maximize this new technique to its fullest. Still, the skill Luffy displayed after coming out of his time skip with Rayleigh would comfortably boost him beyond the power of a Topiropo, and securely place him in the lower All-Star level, around the strength of a 3rd or 2nd commander. For our next iteration of Luffy, we will use the version coming out of Whole Cake Island. While not showing as much growth as the 2-year time skip, Luffy does show new variations of Gear 4th, but most importantly, Luffy learns a new type of haki. Luffy has several displays of strength in this arc. He defeated the 3rd of Big Mom Sweet Commander's Cracker. He fought the 10,000-man army for an entire night. He even clashed with Big Mom at the Tea Party. However, all of these incidents pale in comparison to his battle with the Big Mom Pirates' first commander, Charlotte Katakuri. Katakuri was the mirror of Luffy, being better and stronger than Luffy in every conceivable way. He had a more versatile Devil Fruit that was also awakened. He had more powerful armament haki, able to overcome Luffy's own haki. He possessed equally powerful Conqueror's haki. But most of all, Katakuri was a master of observation haki, developing it to such a degree that he could see into the future. It's through persevering in this extremely difficult fight and unlocking Future Sight himself that Luffy is able to narrowly defeat the powerful commander at the finale of Whole Cake Island. I would argue that though Luffy won the fight against Katakuri, Katakuri at the time was still a bit stronger than Luffy, as he was the first to stand back up after their final strikes. That being said, it was here, after the growth Luffy received upon exiting this fight, that he reached the high All-Star level, or the level of a first commander. And this takes us to Wano. And during the longest arc in One Piece, Luffy undergoes several levels of power. When he enters Wano the first time, we see that his level of observation haki has increased to the point where he can effortlessly use future sight, and his haki is powerful enough to still be effective even when he's unconscious. However, Kaido brutally showed Luffy that he was still a far cry from the strength of the most powerful characters on the seas. Still at the high all-star level or first commander level, Luffy went through a brief but efficient training session in Udon prison, enhancing his physical strength and learning the advanced application of armament haki in order to bypass Kaido's insanely powerful defenses. Upon entering the rooftop, I will say that Luffy was just above the level of a high all-star or first commander and beginning to enter into the realm of the admirals. Luffy showed great strength against Kaido, but still was not able to truly damage Kaido, not until he was able to infuse his own Conqueror's haki into his punches. Now, armed with advanced Conqueror's coding, Luffy's damage output was significantly increased, to the point where he could actually pressure Kaido in several moments of their battle. With Luffy unlocking the ability to code his attack in Conqueror's haki, he definitively moved past the strength of the first commanders and finds his place among the admirals. Nevertheless, having strength comparable to an admiral is not enough to defeat one of the strongest Yonko ever revealed. Kaido was still too powerful for Luffy to defeat alone, and this cost him his life multiple times. That is, until he awakened his devil fruit and rose to his most powerful form, Gear 5th. It's with Gear 5th that Luffy's finally able to close the gap between him and Kaido. The sheer versatility, power, and ingenuity that Gear 5th provides Luffy's body, coupled with the ability to manipulate the surrounding area and even individuals, gives Luffy an edge in battle very few can match. Gear 5th enhances every facet of Luffy's power. It grants him stronger and more potent haki. It increases his physical strength and physiology, giving him greater attack power and greater defenses by allowing his body to just flex around attacks. He does still have weaknesses to slashing attacks, but his endurance increases to such a degree that he can just shrug most of those off. After defeating Kaido and freeing Wano Kuni from his tyranny, Luffy left the country of Wano as a fully fledged Yonko. Not just in name, but in power and influence. And finally, we reach Egghead, and it's here Luffy confirms his renown as a Yonko by effortlessly defeating Rob Lucci, an awakened and powerful member of CP0. And when I say he effortlessly defeated Rob Lucci, I mean it was effortless. He went on to face Admiral Kizaru, stunning him with a powerful punch to the head, and even went on to face off against Saint Saturn, a powerful member of the Gorosei, and Admiral Kizaru simultaneously. Now, we've yet to reach the culmination of Egghead, but I do believe we are seeing what I believe is probably the final form of Luffy. I don't think we'll be seeing any more individual forms or power-ups, just more refining of Gear 5th. But I could be wrong, maybe Oda throwing a Gear 6, but it doesn't seem like it. With where we are now in the story, Luffy's current power level is that of a Yonko. Only characters in the same tier of power could ever hope to best him. And that's how powerful Luffy is actually. He is a Yonko. And that's the video. Where would you place Luffy's strength? Admiral level? Yonko level? It can't be anything other than those two at the very minimum. But let me know in the comments below. And if there's another character you'd like to know how powerful they are actually, also let me know in the comments below. And if you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the page. Until next time, I've been the Blank Face, and I'll see you in the next one.